Traders, this is Rich with Breathingwiththemarkets.com. Today is July 20th, 2025. I was up for the challenge. I have always been up for the challenge. I work on myself each and every day. I work on my trading each and every day when I have available time. It is a passion of mine. It is a hobby of mine. Whenever it got easy, I pushed myself each and every day. I lived out of my comfort zone. There are so many things that I've done with the charts. It is crazy. There are so many challenges that I made for myself, not goals. It was a challenge. There's a big reason why I went to the Forex market. Because there were so many people losing money, and they lure you in because of the cost. It is easy to get in and very difficult to get out. Because there are so many traders that are gambling that are taught to learn how to gamble. Well, let me give you bits and pieces of a simple journey that was not so simple. And I find myself here today looking at others trade, and I wish I could help them, but there's only one of me. And not that I'm the best. I am my best, but I'll tell you what, I can back my shit up. When it comes to a chart, when it comes to the market, nothing can fool me on that market. Nothing, again, can fool me on that market. Yes, will I lose? Absolutely. Do I do stupid shit at times? Absolutely. That's when I lose. Yes, traders, that's when I lose. There are systems, there's electricity, there's all kinds of different platforms that there's other reasons and vulnerabilities that we have as traders. We are vulnerable. We are at risk when we go ahead and enter a trade at any time, based on the market and manipulation. I have showed privately to a gentleman that wasn't from our country, with a background that is known elsewhere, and parents that is known elsewhere. I took him on a short journey. I took him on a journey and showed him that I could cover the entire Forex market. That's right, the entire Forex market without a stop loss on each pair. I did that. He followed me. He had sleepless nights. He had never ever tried to trade without a stop loss. I said to follow me, trust me, understand what I'm doing as I am showing you the way that I can do this. He continued to watch. He was scared. He said he was up all night because he was afraid to leave his trades overnight without a stop loss. I understand that, but I said if you follow me, you will understand how I breathe with the market. Hence, that's how I came up with breathing with the market. I can literally breathe with the market. Whatever that means to you, it doesn't matter to me. The only thing that matters is what actually matters to me. What I say and what I do, I can back up. And I have nothing to prove to anyone. I don't challenge people, and I would expect they don't challenge me either. Because this is not a game of challenge. It is a game of self. We are individuals, and we need to work on ourselves. Just because you can't do it, just because they can't do it, doesn't mean I can't do it. Just because I can't do it, doesn't mean someone else cannot do it. It's fair game, isn't it? So for all those traders and gurus and influencers out there, just because you can't do it, doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Take electricity, cars, all of these things in our life that have been invented by very smart people, intelligent people. They didn't go around and they didn't go to Harvard, or they didn't go to Yale, or they didn't go to these Ivy League schools to get a certificate to show that they were the fortunate, right? And maybe they're not so smart and graduated. Who knows? But you have people creating electric cars to sending rockets up in space, to sending astronauts up in space. The sky is the limit. You, my friend, and you, my friends, need to understand that just because you can't do it doesn't mean it does not exist. That is wrong way of thinking. Follow the herd, and the herd is not profitable at all. The gentleman that I showed that I could cover the entire market, I've showed other people in public, on Discords, as they watched, the price movements breathe, and the results. The point is, you never underestimate anyone. Remember that. You never underestimate anyone. You don't judge a book by its cover. Believe half of what you see and nothing you hear. If you don't want to believe what I'm saying, that's for you to decide. Any legitimate person with some intelligence can go back and look whether or not someone can trade or not. It's not about P&L, people. It's about the game of life, the game of trading. Just because you're down and out somewhere, you're on the streets, you've lost, you got divorced, you had financial problems in the past for whatever reasons, doesn't mean that life is over. Nothing in life is guaranteed. Remember, traders must trade. You must learn how to look at things in an objective way. It's like doing anything in life. If it's not objective, you can't say that you can perform this beautiful quality work, cosmetic work in construction, and get there, and then the crew doesn't know what the hell they're doing, but you own the business, and you have a shitty crew and that you've never trained this crew, and all of a sudden you brag about how fucking great you are, with the quality of work, and you've taken photos of other people's work and said it was yours, and then when it was time to perform, guess what? You couldn't even explain how to do the work. We have people like that all over. Doesn't matter the country, doesn't matter the place, doesn't matter the ethnic background. Everyone is equal. We have opportunities and we have limitations. Not everyone has the same limitations when they are born at birth, but we have the opportunities, and some people might not have the same opportunities, but I live in the United States, and I'm very proud of the U.S., and I am grateful and thankful and honored to be a U.S. citizen. The point is there are less fortunate people throughout the entire world, and I get it. I understand to a point of, I understand that they don't have the ability that maybe we here in the United States have. I get that. But what I am saying is trying to reach out to everyone that a skill does not cost money. You can practice a skill. And if you are taught how to practice that skill in an objective way, you can practice without money. But what you would have to pay for is that education, that specific education, whether it be plumbing or electricity or whatever. A skill comes with a price. And trading comes with a price. How can you minimize your risk in the market? The risk starts before the execution of a trade. I've said that since day one. When I first took my trade. Risk starts before the execution of a trade. That's a fact. Risk does not start after the execution of a trade. Management of risk starts before the execution of a trade. People don't even understand what I am saying. That's not my problem. That's not my problem. That's their problem. That's their way of thinking. That's their way of ingesting poor information into other people's brains, where they go out and they gamble. You have traders that have had sold courses. You have traders that think that they're going to have mentorships. And you have traders that are gamblers. And they're trying to target beginning traders. But they have no objectivity in the market. They say and they admit that they gamble. They say just press a button. Just enter on a high or enter on a low. Just enter on support, just enter on demand. A strong move away and a strong move down is a location, and a disclaimer, it's not, is a location that where you want to get in and take it in the opposite direction. Why does your little account going to turn that movement in trillions and billions of dollars that are manipulating the market? Why do you think that's going to work? Why do you think a fair value gap is just going to work if you don't even know where you're at in the fucking market? That's the key. You have to know where you're at in the market. You don't have to know a little slice of, there's people that know just a little slice of the market. You need to know the entire market. Would anybody disagree? Someone will disagree, saying, no, you just need a slice of the market and you just keep doing that. Well, then you limit yourself, right? Why would you want to limit yourself? Why don't you understand how the market moves, the entire market, how the market breathes with breathingwiththemarkets.com, how the market is actually breathing. Okay? I can take all of those 28 pairs, excluding exotics, and get in when I see the setup that I understand. It's not an edge. It's not a strategy. It's fucking trading. I don't know how else to explain it. Just because you push a button doesn't mean you're trading. You know, it's very difficult to go ahead and reach out to people without a fucking live stream saying, look at me. The reason I'm going to take this up here is I'm waiting for price to get a little higher and exhausted. And then I'm going to take a short. And then I'm going to fucking hope and pray. And as I'm on the stream and it's not going my way, I have to say, excuse me, because I keep shitting my pants. Is that how you want to trade? Why are you following people that do that? That's a question. You must ask yourself, who are you following and why? Is it fun? If you're there to socialize, because I don't think that there's a lot of people that just want to sign up to socialize and then get on a stream, where I think that they're really looking and they're trying to find out information. But I keep saying this over and over again, that someone's streaming, and I'm not attacking streamers at all. Let's just be straight up. I am criticizing the situation in a sense that I'm not saying they're not doing anything, intentionally wrong. They don't even understand that they're fucking gambling. And if you understand the market, like there's people that really understand the market, right? And when you hear this stuff, you see thousands of people following these people. What do you think that's going to do to the community, right? One person can't change the community. There's manipulation and exchanges, and everyone wants a piece of the pie. Everyone where that order is routed, everyone wants a piece of that fucking pie. And there's someone on the end that says, I have the business and I've created this situation here. I am making sure that I don't get fucking screwed over. And I am making sure that the business is profitable. Turn that shit up. We're losing money, turn that shit up. We're losing money, turn that shit up. Whatever turn that shit up means, okay? We're not on the programs behind the scenes where we understand the complete program, okay? So there's no allegations of intentionally wrongdoing, but anybody can create a system that is beneficial to themselves. Can we agree upon that? That if you decided to do a platform, and if you decided to build a platform, And you wanted to sell this platform. And then all of a sudden another business came over and said, we would like to see your platform. How does it work? And can we customize the platform to meet our needs? We want traders to succeed. Yeah, we can do that. Now, will that be separate from others? Yeah, we can do that. And this is a hypothetical situation because I don't have any knowledge in this. I don't claim to have any knowledge in this. But I am telling you to use common sense, is when you have common sense, you don't have to have the knowledge in it. You just have fucking common sense, right? And I am a person that has fucking common sense. I live my life with fucking common sense. What a reasonable person would do, right? Not the fucking majority of people. The majority of people might not even know what the fuck they're doing. But what a reasonable person would do in a situation, right? And a reasonable person would be the majority, right? But the majority is probably not trading, which we know that. When you go out and you talk about trading to a neighbor or people in the neighborhood, it's foreign to them. They have no idea what that means. They just think first thing they possibly think about is the Dow, or the Fortune 500 or hedge funds, or I trade, my stocks. I hear it all the time. I used to hear it all the time that, the Dow's up. Yeah, my 401k, that's great. But that's as far as they understand. That's the only thing that they understand is they look at their bottom line. I don't look at the bottom line. I look at the market. Why is the market doing one thing and the news is doing another thing? Why do people on news stations or business stations start to talk and try to explain why the market is going up? And they talk about tariffs. And then they talk about how the U.S., and I'm giving examples, don't quote me on this, I'm giving examples why they're talking about the tariffs in Canada or China or all of these different places, right? So they're talking about all these things and the reason why the market's going up. Listen, traders, that's bullshit. That tells me they don't even know what the fuck they're doing in the market. Yet they're disseminating through millions and millions of people about why the market's going up. So then your friends and family are here and say, whoa, the market's going down because of tariffs. I can't fucking believe it. You have the most important people that are disseminating information into public and infecting people as to why the market's going up or down. That's not how the market works. That's not how the guru that you're fucking talking to, they don't even understand. Because if they understood how to read the market, they would know that it's the market. It's not the news. It's not the tariffs. It's not the presidents. It's not the war. It's not anything. The market moves because it wants to move, and it's moving in the direction it intends to go. And if you don't understand how the market moves and its intentions of where it's going to go with a high probability, and I don't mean, that probability didn't work, that probability didn't work. No, the market sets up, and the market's going to do its thing, and it repeats its thing over and over and over again. And if you don't know where you're at in the market, you don't fucking understand. Can you shave points here and there? Can you be profitable on some short swing trades? Can you be profitable, I'm guessing, in the market at times? Yes. I'm not saying nobody's profitable, and the only reason they're profitable is because they're gambling. The point is, if you want to understand, completely learn how to trade, why are you trading in that market? Why are you there? Right? You go to the ballpark, you go to the football game, they flip a coin at the football game, heads or tails, who's going to receive or punt the ball. It's so rules-based, right? And then you have, this is an example, okay? Why did they go to cameras? Why are they viewing plays over and over, whether a guy stepped out of the bounds or not? Jeez. Because we had championship games, we had World Series games, we had NBA finals, where someone was accused of doing something that possibly broke a rule, and when they went back in history, in the film, in cameras, it was complete opposite. Why is trading any different? Trading's not any different than that. That's why I can see where you are in the market. And I see where you are in the market, and I understand whether or not you understand where you're at in the market based on what you're saying to the public. If a person asks you a question or you get on the internet and you say, this is the reason why I took that trade. I'm listening. I'm not critiquing, but I see the market. Obviously you're showing your chart. I see the market. They say, why you took the trade? And you come up with this fucking word salad. You come up with this fucking excuse why you took that trade. And then if someone else asks you, well, do you take that trade all the time? And then you give your opinion again. Well, did the football games, baseball games, and basketball, professional sports, right? They wanted to go to the cameras. They were tired of being wrong. Yes, you can be wrong. We're human. We make mistakes, right? And when we throw our opinions in this, guess what happens? We make crucial errors that affects the entire game or the entire final decision. Can you imagine where a guy was safe at home plate when he slid in head first and the umpire called him out on a championship game, bottom ninth, tie game, 15 innings, and the umpire calls him out and he's actually safe based on the view of the recording of the game? Think about it. You have world champions and you have the people that lost because of a bad call. It's the same thing, traders. It's the same exact thing. That's how you follow the market. Why would you want to ingest your opinion, your intuition, your how many years you've been in the market, how much money you made on one stock or Bitcoin or investment or a penny stock, right? How about a penny stock that you've had $3,000 on you along the way, so you put it on a penny stock and it hits 1,000% in a day, and then you post this ungodly amount of money, whatever it is, I don't know. I'm just saying in general, because it happens. And now all of a sudden you post and you say, I'm going to teach you how to trade. This is what I do. That's what's going on. I'm being honest with you. There's nothing to stop that. If they want to get on and bullshit the entire trading community, that is simply up to them. There's nothing stopping them. They could be bluffing the entire community. That's up for them. But it's not their fault that their intentions are wrong or indifferent or bad. If you're following those people and they don't speak about the market objectively, then you might want to ask yourself, is this the reason why 95 or more, I believe probably 98, 99% of the traders are not profitable? How do they even know how many traders have even tried? Right? We billions and billions of people around the world. Right? They say traders don't last 90 days. You know why they don't last 90 days? You know why there's this make-believe or this 90-day rule that some other genius came up with? It's because they were lured in by gambling. That's why they don't last 90 days. That's why they lose everything that they earned in 90 days. Because they're gambling in the market. They followed a gambler. Or they went to paper trade, and then they increased it to the amounts that they didn't even have in the first place. And then they went to their live account and thought that they could do the same thing. They were yellowing, they were windfall trading, or maybe they won 10 trades in a row and they were on the wrong side of the market. That's a big deal. Because that is a fact. How about your best trade of your life? The best trade you ever had, okay? Just because you made $80,000 on a trade does not mean it was good. It's not about the money, traders. I'm trying to explain that to you. Can you pass that on to people? It's not about the money, okay? And I used to say, well, it's not about the money, traders. Everyone says it's always not about the money. Yes, in general, it's not about the money. But if you go ahead and tell the credit card company that you owe a lot of money to, that when they call and you go, hey, you're late. When are you going to make a payment? You tell them, oh, it's not about the money. It is about the money because you borrowed money from them. But when you are trying to be, that's a reaction from their action, okay? But trading must be proactive. You must be proactive. And if you're not proactive, then you have no idea what you're doing. But unfortunately, you have all of these truth illusory effect that so many people are saying the same thing and they believe it. They actually believe it because they believe a friend of a friend is making money off of it. Everyone knows it's a friend of a friend or something that's going to make, but there's no verification of that. And not to say that they have to verify that because no one has to fucking verify anything. There's not one trader that needs to verify. So when you have all these gurus say, oh, I'm the most transparent trader in the world. I've been transparent for the last 10 years. Bullshit. No, they haven't. Those are the people that you need to listen to. Like, whoa, why does this guy have to keep saying, what his net worth is, apparently? And having $1 million is not a lot of money. Okay, having $1 million 20 years ago was a lot more money than having $1 million today. Can you agree on that, right? So think about it. The dollar value and the cost of living and everything going up. I bought my first house at $98,000. I was like 22 years old. Okay, so $98,000. I bought my first house, 22 or 23 around that time. So, okay, you can't buy a house now for $98,000. Think about it. So what is $1 million worth today? Don't be into this bullshit. Okay, think about it because they always talk about money and money and money. I am on this YouTube channel telling you that money doesn't mean anything. It doesn't. It doesn't. Money does not mean anything. You must have the skill. And I'll say the skill 1,000,000 fucking times. I am trying to get to you, traders. Whether you come to breathingwiththemarkets.com, if you are following a guru or a trader that's talking about their money all the time and not a fucking skill, ask them, do you have a skill? Show us your skill since you have free content on the internet or YouTube. Why don't you post your skill on YouTube? I'm telling you, I have a fucking skill, but my skill is not for free. I teach that skill, and that's not clickbait. But what I am saying is, if you don't have a skill in the market, think about it. What are you doing? There's only one thing that you're doing. You're guessing. Okay. Well, what does guessing mean? You have a hunch. Okay. What does a hunch mean? You think you have this intuition. Okay. What is that supposed to mean? Someone told you to take that trade. Okay. 10 other people took the trade, so you took the trade. Okay. What does that mean? It all means the same thing. What does it mean? You're gambling. That's a word. You are gambling. You are hoping and praying it works out for you. And you're hoping and praying how much money you're looking at your P&L, and you're wondering, oh, am I going to lose this? Am I going to get out? Am I going to stay in? It's going close to my stop loss. Should I get out? Should I move my stop up or down? The reason people are moving their stops all around because they don't even know where the fuck they're at in the market. Jeez, that's a fact. Wow, that's common sense. Yes, you're moving your stops around because you don't know where you're at in the market. That's a fact. If you knew where you're at in the market, why wouldn't you allow the market to breathe? Why don't you do a set and forget? But people will set and forget, and they have this very small stop loss. And then they have a very big target. And they go, oh, I'll take 20 of these losses to hope and pray on this one. And they might do it. But is that trading? Well, yeah, that's trading. That, you know, you're in the market and it's P&L, yeah. If you can't fucking think outside the box and you can't have some common sense, then get the fuck out of the market, because that's not trading. Taking bits and pieces of losses and losses while I manage risk. You don't manage risk. If you knew that trade was fucking going to work with a high probability, why would you choke the fucking market out? Why would you choke the market out? If you think you know what you're doing, ask the questions. Why are you putting your stop loss there? Oh, well, the market can, do whatever it wants. It doesn't mean it could go down. This is just a high probability trade. Therefore, if it goes back up, I save my account and blah, blah, blah. They're going to feed you with a bunch of bullshit. They're going to come back and tell you this word salad of why they had a stop loss there and why they changed their mind and all of this stuff, which is all opinions, and they can't prove it. And you cannot prove it one way or the other. So if you can't prove it, if you can't prove it, and they can't prove it, what is it called, traders? I wouldn't even say the fucking name. It starts with a G and ends with a G, okay? Gambling. I had to say it. Because there's a lot of people that fucking wouldn't even get it. I don't understand. Think about what you're doing. That's it. If you watch these videos and they help you, like and subscribe, because I am talking to you real. I'm not giving you this false fantasy. I'm not telling you you're going to fucking make millions and millions of dollars. How can you make millions and millions of dollars, or thousands and thousands of dollars, or hundreds and hundreds of dollars if you don't have a skill? If I teach you a skill and you don't practice the skill the way I teach you the skill over and over again, and I give you sets of objective things in the market that we do over and over and over and over again because we see it works, it works, it works, it works, it works. If you cannot follow that, then of course you're not going to make it. Of course you're not going to get better. Because you might have 2 steps forward and 3 steps back when you go back to gambling. If you taught a small child on how to open a door with a key, do you think they would get it right? They don't even know the key actually fits. So they have to identify what the key looks like on the keychain, and you teach them that. This is the key, this is the key, this is the key. And then you teach them the door. And now all of a sudden they have a 50% chance to put the key in the right way or the opposite way. But one thing that they know is if it doesn't fit the one way, it fits the other way, right? Can we agree upon that? It's the same thing about trading. So once you understand what side of the key goes initially, after what? Practicing, right? Now you've made it 2 steps. Now all of a sudden you go into this gambling habit, you fucking wasted that. You erased those 2 steps because you fell into gambling in this big hopes that I want to get this millions of dollars. I have one trader that followed a gambler who said he was a multi-million-dollar trader. Okay, he's a multi-million-dollar trader, support and resistance, and blah, blah, blah. Okay? This guy, from what I'm told, lost about $12,000, okay, following the shit. And not only that, there was other people that were calculating how much, they were calculating the guru's trades, because he had a signals group, calculating the trades, and then came up that they weren't even profitable out of all these trades. So there's people that check that work. And I would ask the mentees and those in the program, check the work. Check the work and get back with me. Not one person has gotten back with me about this does not work. They have to get the gambling mentality out of their head. They have to follow the steps. I provide the steps for them to build that skill, to build the muscle memory. How does it not work? It's objective. You can go back 20 fucking years and it's still there. Why wouldn't it work the next 25 years? Are they going to just change this entire program? And if they do, guess what? It will work. The market cannot hide. The market cannot hide. And I tell the mentees why it cannot hide. I'm not making this shit up. If it's objective, how could I make it up? Right? I'm saying this publicly. I cannot make it up. And if I can't make it up, then I have to show it. Right? And did you see some of the mentees, because not all the mentees even want to get on TV, but did you see the mentees, how they explain? I mean, in their own words, okay? These are individuals that don't even know each other, because I don't have a Discord group where they're all messaging each other on how to trade and what trades you're going to do and stuff like that. That teaches nobody. That teaches nobody. That is a social group. This is not a social channel. This is a hardcore channel. I use language, whatever I want to use. And if I offend someone, okay, I do. But we have freedoms in the United States, okay? And I am my own person. And if you are a judgmental person, then you don't belong here either. Because I don't sit there and judge people by what they look like, what they sound like, and how they act. I just don't judge them, okay? Each person has their own choices to make in life. Remember, nobody's perfect. There's even places called there's businesses called Nobody's Perfect. And you know what those places are for? They are helping the intellectually disabled people, okay? Because nobody is fucking perfect. But I'll tell you one thing, because I understand them, and I've taken care of 70 of them on my caseload, and that's a fact, because I gave back to a community. I wanted to go down and give back to the community. And you know what I saw? I saw these intellectually disabled people, adults, that worked harder than those that had all the abilities to work. What does that tell you? They worked harder than all of us that had the ability to work, that didn't have those disabilities. So for all those people out there that want to come up with fucking excuses as to why they can't fucking do anything, think again, look at yourself in the mirror. That's a fact. Intellectually disabled adults and children, they struggle, but you know what? They never quit. They never give up. Why do you give up? Why do you have excuses? Why are you influencers or gurus that have some ill intentions and not admit that you're gambling, ruining the lives of others? That's, in my opinion, they're ruining the lives of others. Think about it. It must be objective. There were people that showed up 15 minutes early every day to go to work. Man, it was the greatest thing I ever did in my life. Greatest thing I ever did in my life is to give back to a community and to see things that I never thought I would see in my life. I wish you well. I hope you understand where I'm coming from. Pass this video on, like and share. Let's just spread the word. I want to help one life at a time. It is in my heart to help you. That's a fact. I will give you 110% 24/7. Let's get it. Peace, traders.